Have you ever stood by your window on a quiet morning, holding a warm cup of coffee, and thought to yourself, this house holds so many stories? Maybe it's the house where you raised your children, or maybe it's a place you moved into after the kids were grown, looking for peace. Either way, the way a home feels, and even more so, the way it smells, carries meaning. Not perfume, not cleaning chemicals, but something softer, something that says, this is where love lives. There's something powerful about scent. A gentle scent can calm the mind, lift the spirit, and quietly remind you that you're not just surviving, you're still creating beauty, right here in your own space. Today, I'd like to share a few small rituals with you. No expensive products, no fancy tools, just simple natural blends that can turn your home into a place that smells like care, like comfort, like you. These aren't tricks to impress anyone. They're habits to nourish your soul, to remind you of the life you've lived and the life you're still living. Take a slow breath with me. Let's begin. 1. Gentle sleep spray, a ritual for rest. Let's start at the end of the day. You've done what you could. Maybe you washed a few dishes, folded a blanket, or checked in on someone you love. The lights are dim. The house is quiet. But your mind? It's still moving. Sometimes, rest doesn't come just because we lie down. It needs a gentle invitation. That's why I use something simple that has become part of my nightly rhythm. I call it my gentle sleep spray. It doesn't require any special skills or equipment, just a few ingredients and a few minutes of care. Here's what you'll need. 2 cups of distilled water, 10 drops of lavender essential oil, 3 drops of vanilla essential oil, 1 teaspoon of witch hazel or rubbing alcohol, optional, to help the oils mix into the water. Place everything in a clean spray bottle. Shake gently before each use. About 15 to 20 minutes before bedtime, I mist my pillow and sheets. Sometimes I spray a little into the air around the room. Then I sit quietly with a book or with my thoughts, letting the scent settle, letting myself settle too. Lavender is known to calm the nervous system. It eases tension. Vanilla brings warmth, not just in smell, but in memory. A kind of softness that reminds me of being safe, of being loved. This little ritual helps me let go of the day, not because of the ingredients, but because of the intention. It tells my body and my heart, you've done enough. It's time to rest now. If you struggle with sleep or simply want to end your day more gently, I invite you to try this. Adjust the scent if you like. Add a drop of chamomile or sandalwood. Let it reflect what brings you comfort, because rest is not a luxury. It is your birthright, and every evening is a chance to honor that. 2. A memory bowl, the heart of a lived-in home. Some scents don't just freshen the air, they carry something deeper. A memory? A moment. A quiet feeling that someone lives here with care. That's why I love what I call the memory bowl. It's simple, affordable, and surprisingly powerful. But more than anything, it reminds me of what makes a house feel like home. Intention. Here's what you'll need. 1 small bowl. It doesn't have to be fancy. An old teacup or a ramekin works just fine. 5 tablespoons of coarse salt. Table salt works too, if that's what you have. 3 tablespoons of rubbing alcohol. 2 capfuls of fabric softener. Choose a scent that brings you comfort. Start by placing the salt in the bowl. It acts as a base, holding moisture and slowly releasing the scent over time. Add the rubbing alcohol. This helps the fragrance carry through the air and also discourages tiny bugs. Then pour in the fabric softener. Stir gently. The texture becomes soft and pleasant. But what truly matters is the scent. Not overpowering, not artificial, just present, quietly, like someone saying, "Welcome." Place the bowl anywhere, in the bathroom, beside the kitchen sink, on a nightstand. Over time, it fills the space with a clean, gentle fragrance that doesn't shout. It simply exists. And comforts. To me, that's the mark of a lived-in home. Not perfection, not polish, but thoughtful presence. And here's a lovely truth. Almost everything you need for this bowl can be found at a dollar store. It's simple, it's kind, and it's yours. In just a moment, I'll show you how one small addition, something you may already have in your spice cabinet, can turn this blend into something truly special. 3. The secret spice, a touch of warmth. Now that your memory bowl is prepared and placed somewhere special, let me share one small addition that changes everything. Cloves. Yes, the same tiny dark brown spice you may have once used to stud an orange during the holidays. Cloves have a warm, comforting aroma, something between cinnamon, nutmeg, and wood smoke. But in this blend, they offer more than just scent. Here's how to use them. Add 5 or 6 whole cloves to your memory bowl. That's all it takes. Cloves do 2 important things. First, they deepen the fragrance. They bring a kind of richness, a quiet warmth that makes the room feel cozy, even if the windows are open. Second, they help purify the air and extend the life of the scent. It might sound unusual, mixing fabric softener with a cooking spice. But trust me, there's nothing strange about comfort. The result is subtle but memorable. A mix of soft floral, clean linen, and warm spice. When I walk by that bowl and catch a hint of it, I pause, I breathe, and I feel something familiar, something like home. What I love most is how adaptable it is. In winter, you might add a piece of star anise. In spring, a sprinkle of dried lavender. No need to spend more. Most dollar stores carry small packets of cloves. Even supermarket store brands are just a couple of dollars. And here's a little secret I've noticed over the years. Guests feel it. They may not say, "What is that scent?" But they linger a moment longer. Their shoulders soften. Their faces brighten. Place the bowl near your front door if you'd like. So, every time someone enters, even if that someone is you, they're welcomed by more than scent. They're welcomed by feeling. And to me, that's the beauty of a home. 4. Clean doesn't have to mean harsh. When I was younger, the smell of a clean house was unmistakable. It was strong, sharp, the kind of scent that hit you the moment you walked through the door. Usually, it meant bleach, sometimes ammonia. And if your nose started to tingle, that was just part of the process. That's how we learned what clean was supposed to smell like. But over time, things change. Our bodies change. Our sensitivities shift. And so do our ideas about what it means to live well. I've come to believe something that would have surprised my younger self. A clean home doesn't have to smell harsh. In fact, it shouldn't. Clean can smell soft. It can smell fresh. It can smell like lemon, peppermint, eucalyptus. Scents that don't burn your nose, but still tell you, yes, this space is cared for. If you've ever found yourself coughing after using store-bought sprays or getting a headache after scrubbing the bathroom, you're not imagining things. Many commercial cleaning products contain synthetic chemicals that can be irritating, especially over time. And for those of us with asthma, allergies, or simply more delicate lungs, that's no small thing. So let me share with you the simple blend I use almost every day. It's gentle, it's affordable, and best of all, it works. Here's what you'll need. 1 clean spray bottle, 1 cup of distilled water, 1/2 cup of plain white vinegar, 10 drops of lemon essential oil, 5 drops of peppermint or eucalyptus essential oil. Start by pouring the distilled water into the spray bottle. Add the vinegar, Then the essential oils. Give it a gentle shake before each use. You can use this blend on most hard surfaces, kitchen counters, bathroom sinks, tiles, and even inside the refrigerator. The vinegar does have a strong smell at first, I won't lie. But within minutes, it disappears, leaving behind just a bright, clean trace of lemon and a cool whisper of mint. Lemon oil is wonderful for cutting through grease. Peppermint brings that fresh, lifted feeling, like a breath of crisp morning air. And here's something I love. This cleaner isn't just good for your home. It's good for you. No fumes, no artificial perfumes, no guessing about what's in the bottle. Just clean, in every sense of the word. You can keep one bottle in the kitchen, another in the bathroom, and maybe one in the laundry room. I even made a few extras and gave them to my neighbors. A small gift, but one that means something. If you're in the mood to get creative, you can adjust the scents with the seasons. Try orange and clove in the fall. Use lavender and rosemary in the spring. Let your home smell the way you want it to. Gentle, fresh, and truly yours. Because cleaning shouldn't be something that overwhelms your senses or leaves you feeling worn out. It can be something grounding. A quiet ritual. A way of saying, I'm taking care of this space and of myself. And that, I think, is the real meaning of clean. 5. A scent for the grandkids. Safe, sweet, and soft. There's a special kind of joy that fills a home when grandchildren come to visit. You know the feeling. The front door opens, and suddenly the house is full of little feet running down the hallway, giggles echoing through the rooms, voices calling out, "Grandma, Grandpa, look at this." It's a kind of energy no candle or radio can bring, and when they're here, I want them to feel safe, not just cared for, safe, comfortable, loved in ways they may not even be able to describe. For me, that feeling includes scent. Now, children are more sensitive than we are. Their bodies, their lungs, even their skin. So I try to keep things gentle, especially in the spaces they'll sleep or play. That's why I created a soft, natural spray just for them. I call it the Snuggle Blend. It's safe, simple, and smells like calm in a bottle. Here's how I make it. 2 cups of distilled water, 5 drops of chamomile essential oil, 5 drops of lavender or vanilla essential oil, 1 clean glass spray bottle. Add everything to the bottle and shake it gently. That's it. No preservatives, no artificial fragrance, just nature's comfort. Before bedtime or nap time, I lightly mist it on their pillows and blankets. Sometimes I spray a bit in the air around their reading nook or near their favorite stuffed animals. The scent is soft, never strong, and it lingers just long enough to create a sense of peace. Chamomile is calming, known for its soothing properties. Lavender helps ease restlessness. Vanilla, if you use it, adds a touch of cozy sweetness, almost like fresh cookies or warm milk. But here's the part I love most. Sometimes I let the kids help me make the spray. They hold the bottle. They count the drops. They give it a shake with serious little faces, proud to be part of the magic. And in that moment, they feel not just safe. They feel involved, seen, important. Even when they're not visiting, I sometimes use this blend myself. On my pillow, on the armchair where I read, because it reminds me of their laughter, their sticky fingers, the soft sound of their breathing when they finally fall asleep. Scents can do that. They carry memory. They hold presence. They remind us that love doesn't leave when the room goes quiet. It just lingers, gently, like the soft scent of snuggle spray in the air. 6. Rainy Day Blend. For the quiet mornings. Not every day is filled with noise and laughter. Some mornings, the sky is gray, the house is still, and your coffee cup feels heavier than usual. You sit at the kitchen table, listening to the rain tap gently on the windows. And maybe, just maybe, your heart feels a little quiet too. There are days when I don't want to be distracted. I don't want to turn on the television or fill the silence. I want to sit with whatever I'm feeling, the memories, the questions, the people I miss. Not to push those feelings away, but to make space for them. That's when I reach for what I call my rainy day blend. This blend is not made to cheer you up. It's not a happy scent. It's a comforting one. A scent that wraps around you like a well-loved blanket and says, it's okay to feel what you're feeling. Here's how I make it. 6 drops of jasmine essential oil. 4 drops of sandalwood essential oil. 2 drops of bergamot essential oil. Either a diffuser or a clean spray bottle filled with distilled water. If you use a spray bottle, combine the oils first, then add water and shake gently. If you have a diffuser, simply add the drops with water according to your machine's instructions. Jasmine has a delicate, emotional quality, soft and floral, almost like a memory. Sandalwood is earthy and grounding, like standing still in a quiet forest. And bergamot lifts the blend just enough to bring a touch of lightness, like hope peeking through a cloud. I usually let this scent drift through the hallway or near a favorite window. I sit with a cup of tea or simply breathe in the stillness. Sometimes I journal. Sometimes I just remember. I might think of my husband's old coat hanging by the door, or the times I made breakfast for 2 instead of 1. But instead of feeling lost in sadness, I feel gently accompanied by it, like an old friend visiting just for a moment. This scent doesn't erase anything. It doesn't pretend. What it does is honor what matters. The people we've loved, the days we've lived, the quiet strength it takes to keep going. And on days like these, when the world feels a little heavier, it helps to have something small, a scent, a breath, to remind you that you are still here, still feeling, still full of meaning. Because even in stillness, you are never alone. 7. A memory jar, a gift from the heart. Not all gifts come in boxes. Some come in small, quiet gestures, in simple things made by hand, in something you give not to impress, but to comfort. That's what a memory jar is to me. It's not just a pretty little craft. It's a message, often unspoken, that says, you matter, I see you, I remember. Over the years, I've made these for friends going through hard seasons, for neighbors who lost someone they loved, for my daughter when life was moving too fast. I even made one for myself, a small reminder that healing doesn't come all at once, but in small, thoughtful ways. Here's what you'll need to make one. 1 small glass jar, an empty jam jar, a mason jar, or even a clean candle jar works perfectly. Enough coarse salt to fill it halfway. 10 drops of lavender essential oil. 5 drops of sweet orange essential oil. A few whole cloves or a pinch of dried rosemary. Optional, a sprig of dried lavender or a small ribbon. Start by making sure the jar is clean and dry. Then pour in the salt. It acts as a base, absorbing moisture and holding the scent. Add your essential oils directly onto the salt. Then tuck in your cloves or herbs. Stir gently with a wooden stick or spoon. That's all. When you close the lid and hold the jar in your hands, you'll realize it's more than just salt and oil. It's a moment, a pause, a keepsake of care. If you're giving it to someone, you can add a little handwritten note, just a few words. Something like, for the days when your heart feels heavy, open this jar and breathe. You are not alone. Sometimes I tie a ribbon around the lid. Other times, I leave it plain. It doesn't have to be polished or perfect. It just has to be true. One neighbor I gave it to told me later, I keep it on my nightstand. I don't open it every day, but just knowing it's there helps. My daughter keeps hers at her work desk and says it makes the whole room feel softer. Like home is close, even when she's far away. You can make a memory jar for a friend, a neighbor, a caregiver, or yourself. Place it by your bedside. Tuck it into a drawer. Keep it near the entryway so it welcomes you every time you come home. And every time you open the lid, let that scent remind you. This is not just a fragrance. It is presence. It is love made visible. It is a way of saying, you are remembered. In a world that moves fast, where grief is often rushed and tenderness overlooked, these little jars become something rare. A quiet act of care. You don't have to be crafty. You don't need fancy tools. Just a few ingredients. A little time, and the desire to let someone, even yourself, feel seen. So take a moment today. Gather a jar, a handful of salt, and the scent that brings you peace. Give it away. Or keep it close, because sometimes the smallest gifts carry the most meaning. Bonus, a gentle life. What scent can teach us about living? By now, you've heard me share a handful of blends, a few small rituals, and maybe even a memory or two. But if you're still with me, and I'm glad you are, I'd like to share something that goes beyond oils and jars. Because here's the truth. Scent is just the beginning. What we're really talking about is presence, the art of slowing down, of noticing, of living in a way that says, this moment matters. And I believe that's something we often overlook, especially in a world that rewards busyness and constant movement. As we grow older, our homes become more than shelter. They become an extension of our memory, our comfort, our way of saying, I'm still here. I'm still creating beauty, even in small ways. Take, for example, the memory jar. Yes, it holds fragrance, but it also holds intention. You chose the scent. You stirred it slowly. You sealed it with care. That's no longer just a jar. That's a practice of gentleness. And what about the sleep spray? It's not just to help you drift off. It's a message to your nervous system that the day is over and you deserve rest. That's a ritual, a habit of kindness. These tiny acts may not seem like much, but they teach us something vital, something we often forget until life slows us down enough to see it. Small things, done with love, are never small at all. You don't have to do big, dramatic things to live meaningfully. You can light a candle, spray your pillow, place a little jar of scent by the window. And through those acts, you're not just tending to your space, you're tending to your soul. And perhaps, even more importantly, you're offering something to the people around you. Maybe your grandchild walks in and says, your house always smells so nice. Maybe a friend receives a jar from you during a hard time and quietly weeps. Not because of the jar itself, but because someone thought of them with care. That's powerful. So if you take one thing from this video, I hope it's this. You are still able to create comfort. You are still a source of peace. And the little rituals you build, even something as simple as adding cloves to a bowl of salt, become symbols of love, patience, and quiet strength. In my own life, I've found that scent has taught me to pause, to notice what I feel, to remember who I love, and to be fully present in the space I call home. Whether it's full of voices or silent as rain, it reminds me that I don't need to chase youth or noise or perfection. I only need to tend to what's right in front of me, with care. So, if you're looking for something meaningful to do today, don't worry about grand gestures. Pick a scent that brings you comfort. Place it somewhere you'll notice it tomorrow. Maybe write a short note and tuck it in the memory jar, for someone else, or just for you. Let that be enough. Because living gently, with your space, with your time, and with yourself, is one of the greatest things you can still give to the world. And in doing so, you remind all of us that even as seasons change, your presence still carries warmth, still brings peace, still matters. As we come to the end of our time together, I hope you found something here. Not just a scent or a recipe, but a feeling. A reminder that even the smallest acts, a bowl of salt, a spray on a pillow, a jar given with care, can bring comfort, connection, and meaning. Your home doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to reflect you, your kindness, your rhythm, your quiet strength. And through every gentle ritual, you remind the world, I am still here. I still care. This space, this life, is still full of love. If this video brought you a sense of peace, or even a moment of stillness, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below. Tell me your favorite scent, a memory it brings, or simply say hello. I read every word, truly. And if you'd like to keep creating these slow, thoughtful moments together, feel free to subscribe. There's always room here for more softness, more meaning, more of what matters. Take good care of yourself. You've earned it.